Hey Team MRJ, welcome to the very first Gold Digger Get Down. I'm here with our waxpert Crystal, and she's going to share a few tips and tricks that'll go a long way.
We're super excited and cannot wait to show you what we have in store.
The three things Crystal's going to talk about today: getting guests and keeping guests, making sure that no hair is ever left behind, and planting the SPT seed. So Crystal, let's get into it. What is the ultimate goal at European Wax Center?
We want to get the guests and we want to keep the guests too.
Yes, honey, getting guests and keeping guests. So how can we make sure we're doing that?
We need to make sure that we are making our guests feel comfortable from the very first second they enter the center until the very last second when they leave as well.
Absolutely, and we all learn that on day one of training. So we just want to make sure that we're continuing this throughout your journey here with MRJ and European Wax Center.
After all, we are the experts in waxing, so we want to make sure that every single guest that comes in leaves knowing that.
How can we make sure that we're retaining all of our guests?
Well, let me tell you. First and foremost, we want to make sure, like I said, we're making the guests very, very comfortable from the very get-go. We want to make sure that we're getting all of the hair all the time, and we really need to make sure that we're educating every single guest that we see.
Something that Crystal is always saying is no hair left behind. Crystal, how can we make sure that all of our wax specialists here at MRJ are not leaving any hair?
Yeah, because we don't want to do that. So the biggest thing for me and for all of the waxers out there is we need to make sure that we are really analyzing the skin first and seeing if, one, the hair is even long enough, and if it's not communicating that with your guest. Also, we really want to make sure that we are doing touch-up strips. So just as a refresher, what a touch-up strip is pretty much a thinner strip going in the opposite direction of where you have already waxed if the skin shows no signs of redness.
I think that's a great reminder, Crystal. And it'll decrease any guests that may call and say that there is hair left behind if you are communicating.
And it's okay if there is an area that's being a little bit stubborn. That's okay if there's a little bit of hair left, but you need to make sure that you're communicating with your guests so it does not turn into a guest complaint, because we don't want any of those.
Absolutely. And I know Crystal keeps talking about communication and how key it is. So when we're talking about services, we really want to make sure that we're continuing to communicate the need for other services. That leads us into planting the SPT seed.
Yes, so with planting the SPT seed, we've all had those guests that come in for their bikini area to get waxed, and they have previously just shaved their stomach strip or their inner thighs or anything along the lines of that. And we're thinking to ourselves, well, why don't you just wax them, right? So why is it so important that they're getting waxed instead of being shaving every single day? We need to be the experts in the suite and let them know, hey, let's stop the shaving and let's start the waxing.
Absolutely. And let's take that communication one step further. When we're getting those guests to add an inner thigh, an underarm, a stomach strip, as wax specialists, make sure that you're communicating with your guest service associates. And as GSAs, let's make sure we're pre-booking those extra services and getting our guests to commit to always doing them.
And of course, it can be a little intimidating if we see that there's hair somewhere else that they're not coming in for the service. But it's our job as experts in waxing that we're letting them know, if you do have a little bit of hair here, we can get that too. Because sometimes guests just really don't know that we offer those services. So letting them know is going to go a long way.
Absolutely, Crystal. We just want to make sure that we grow and glow, honey.
Yes.